Welcome back. Next, we will see how to register an SIP. We have 4 types of SIPs. 3 are mandate based SIPs and 1 is a non-mandate type SIP. Firstly, we will look at how to register a mandate so that we can set up SIPs. As mentioned, we have 3 types of mandates for which SIPs can be done through. The first is the normal type, wherein you would have to get the mandate form filled, for which you need to register the mandate on the system. To register the mandate, you would need to go to systematic investment, mandate registration. Here enter the client code, the client's name would display, also the client's bank name would show up in the drop down. So, you can select the bank that you want to register a mandate. Prior to that, you would need to enter the amount. Please make a note that the mandate amount would be a higher amount, the reason being that unlike the offline mode where you take a mandate for every SIP that you register, in BSE you can register multiple SIPs with a single mandate. So, for example, you would want to register 10 SIPs for 10,000 each. You do not need to take 10 different mandates. You could take a single mandate of 1 lakh rupees and set up multiple SIPs within that amount. Also, remember that the amount that you would enter in the mandate would be a per day limit. So, in case if you register a mandate for suppose 1 lakh rupees, you can register SIPs totaling up to 1 lakh per day. For the next day, you would have the amount of 1 lakh again to register SIPs for a total of 1 lakh. So, after entering the amount, select the bank. Next, select the IFSC code which would display automatically. Select the account number and then you can either select an end date or leave the end date which is mentioned and then select the mandate type. Select XSIP mandate and save it. As you can see, a mandate ID has been generated for an XSIP mandate. Once you register this mandate, you would need to download the mandate form, for which you need to go to daily downloads, mandate registration form. As you can see, the mandate form is shown up here. You need to fill up these details. The date mentioned here is the mandate registration date. Mention the bank account number, mention the bank name, IFSC code, MICR code is non-mandatory, mention the amount in words and in numbers. Ensure that you do not select any column in the frequency option as it has already been ticked. Same with the debit type, the maximum amount option has already been selected. The mandate reference number would be the number, the mandate ID that has been generated. The reference to is the unique client code, that is the UCC of the client. Enter the phone number, the email ID of the client, mention the period from, again the from date will be the date of registration of the mandate. Either you select and mention the to date, or in case if you want a mandate to run perpetually, select until cancelled. In case if you select the option of until cancel, do not mention a to date. Once you filled up these details, you would need to take the signature of the client in the same way as it appears in the bank account of the client. Mention the client's name. Also, if it is a joint holding or a anyone survivor bank account, mention both the signatures and the names of the account holders. You have two options of sending this mandate form after filling it. The first option would be to send us this mandate form physically, the address for which is BSE India Limited, Mutual Fund Department, 15th floor, Dalal Street, Fort Mumbai 400001. Once you send us this mandate physically, we send it across to the respective banks for approval. The second option of sending us the mandate is to scan this mandate after filling it up and getting the signatures and upload it on the system. There are certain requisites before you scan this mandate. If you are going to scan the mandate and send it to us, you would need to fill up two additional columns. The first would be the sponsor bank code and the second would be the utility code. The sponsor bank code and the utility code is mentioned on the screen. Also, when you are scanning the mandate and sending across to us, you would need to send it, you would need to name the file as the mandate ID first, then the date on which you are uploading the image. The third detail is the member code and the fourth detail is the client code. These details need to be filled up in sequence without any gap. For an example, for this particular client, the mandate ID would be mentioned first, then the date, as in the date of today is the 22nd of May 2018. So, it would be 22052018. Then the member code, that is 10000, and the client code, that is DIPTI 123. Once you scan the mandate, which has to be done in a TIFF image, you need to upload the mandate, for which you need to go to systematic investment, mandate, upload scan mandate. Mention the client code, the client's name would display, select the mandate ID which would be shown in the drop down, choose the file and upload the mandate. The requirements of uploading the scan mandate are shown on the screen. Just to reiterate, the mandate has to be of a size of 30 KB and it has to be 8 inches by 3 2/3 inches. If you notice the mandate form, it would be exactly between this right angles marked on the mandate form. As is the case in the normal physical mandate that you send, once we receive these mandates, we send them across to the respective banks for an approval. The time frame for approval of a mandate is totally dependent on the respective banks. and BSE has no role to play in the approval of your mandates. Once your mandate has been sent across, you can check the status of the mandate, whether it has been approved, rejected or pending. To check the status of the mandate, you need to go to systematic investment, mandate, mandate search. Select the date range, enter the client code, and view the mandate. As you can see, the status reflects as registered by member. Once the mandate has been sent across to BSE, the status would change as received by exchange. Once it is sent across to the respective bank, the status would change to under processing, and once the bank gives us a final status, it would be approved or rejected as the case may be. Also, for the particular mandates, the mandate type is mentioned. So, you can differentiate between the various type of mandates that you have registered for the particular client. So, this is it for the XSIP mandates.